so we get to work on our tans. So you guys up front, bring your sunscreen lotion. Any questions? Wow, okay.
Who are you playing?
West Virginia.
Yeah, Andrew.
Dino, obviously, always got an announcement of watching film, but what do you know about West Virginia? What have you heard about them? Any sort of initial reactions out of them?
Obviously they're the old Texas Tech branch of offense. They play good defense. If I'm not mistaken, it's a 3-3 stack type defense that they play, which is very unique. It's probably a defense that's not played a lot around the country. But from an offensive standpoint, with that quarterback that they have, outstanding football player, can throw the ball all over the yard, receivers that make plays all over the place. It'll be, I'd imagine, a defensive contest.
Okay. Steve?
Coach, I know the last several weeks, you and the players have had to say, we don't care, we just want to go to the postseason. That's the focus right now. It seems like this was the best case scenario coming into the day. The opponent, the location, so on and so forth. Could you speak to, I guess, the opportunity of going down to Orlando and playing an old Big East rival and two high-scoring teams and everything that kind of goes with it?
I think it's really cool that we're playing an old rival, and I know that our fan base will be fired up about that, and tickets are probably being sold as we speak. But really, I do appreciate the slotting of it, because that's where the second team in the ACC normally goes, and that's what we earned this year. But this football team would have been happy to go anywhere, and to represent any of the bowls, because we really are blessed. I'm one of those guys that, everybody wants to make the Final Four, the Final 8, the Final 16. I still love the bowl system. When there's bowls, there's 20 bowls, there's going to be 10 winners. Now, there might be one national champion, but there's going to be a bunch of winners. And I'm excited about the opportunity that we have, and I'm excited what the opportunity that the players have, especially based off of their 4- and 5-year careers that they've had here.
Matt?
Dino, you just mentioned having it be a formal.
Matt, stop for a second. You guys know this is like the first time I've ever had a press conference with you guys sitting over here over my shoulder like this. I'm getting kind of nervous. Okay, all right, thanks. Go ahead, Matt.
With it being a former Big East rival, do you anticipate trying to bring in any former players from some of those legendary matchups, such as 1987 and?
Because it just happened about 8 or 9 minutes ago, I really haven't had an opportunity to think about that, but I think that's a fabulous idea.
Nico in the back.
Coach, you just mentioned a few minutes ago just the opportunity. You guys have been happy with any bowl, but the chance you just mentioned these seniors here, it's their first bowl, their chance to end their Syracuse career with a victory. That's something special that not a lot of players get to enjoy. How cool is that part of it?
Well, I think that these guys understand what we're playing for, and it's cool to go down to a bowl and we're going to experience and enjoy every part of that. But to have an opportunity to be a football team that goes double digits and win 10 wins, that just doesn't happen very often. It's happened like once every 7 years of my career based off the schools that I've been at. And it kind of separates you from a lot of football teams. There's a big difference. They're going to say, well, it's only a difference of one. Well, there's a difference of not one game, but one digit. It's a big difference between being a 9-win team and a 10-win team in college football. And it really will cement this class and really give them what I think they deserve based off of all the work that they've put in. So I'm really excited about the opportunity, and that's not to neglect how good our opponent is. I mean, we're probably getting the best opponent that we could possibly play, and they're ranked really, really high, and we look forward to playing them.
Josh?
Dino, I was curious what the past week has been like for the team, and then the next 3 weeks, because I think it's obviously just a different scenario to have 4 weeks in between games. I don't know kind of what goes into the prep there and how you kind of keep the guys going.
It's really unique. First of all, let me say this: based off of our last win over Boston College to finish the season, over our rival game, it was a very physical game, and the last week we basically just took off and concentrated on school. We did do some weight and some baby conditioning type stuff, but we will follow that pattern in the first part of next week as well, because at Syracuse University you got to give these guys some opportunities to study, and some of these guys, accounting majors and everything else, they've got some real finals going on over here. So they're going to be working on that stuff, and we'll give them that to about Thursday. And then, Friday, Saturday, somewhere there at the end of the week, we'll have our first practice and we'll start getting going. We'll need at least that much time because the staff is still recruiting, and we will be out recruiting all across the country for the entire week. And then we've got to get back together and start putting our game plans together for West Virginia.
So it really kind of turns into like a 2-week game, like game-specific prep in some way. It's like having a bye week and then the game week leading into it.
I'm not sure I'm going to do it that way. I
Okay.
think that there's two things that we need to accomplish. We need to, first of all, we're playing to win the football game. And then the second thing is we need to continue to develop the underbelly of this football team. This is a great opportunity to have 15 practices, which is the exact amount that we get in spring ball. So we're getting a second spring to set us up for the 2019 season, which will be big. These guys have done their part for 2018 now. The juniors and the rest of the family has got to do their part for 2019. So it's going to be a part of that as well. We have to burn candles at both ends, so to speak, to make sure that we're giving not only the 2018 team the best opportunity to finish, but the 2019 team the best opportunity to start.
Steve?
I just wanted to ask you about recruiting. I think it was 2 weeks ago you said you thought the back end of this 2019 class and the 2020 class would kind of give you the ammunition you thought you needed to have full depth. You guys have kind of been back, the coach has been back on the road this week. What's it been like meeting face to face with coaches and recruits, and what's kind of the feedback you're getting back now that you've kind of put together a breakthrough season?
It's exactly what you think. First of all, half of our kids are already committed.
Sure.
So you gotta realize that they committed off of our Virginia Tech win and our Clemson win. And now half of those scholarships are not committed, and we're being introduced to a new a higher brand of athletes who are really excited about the job that the seniors have done with our 9-3 season and our second place finish in the ACC Atlantic, one of the toughest conferences in college football. So we're getting introduced to a new set of athletes or higher stars, however you want to put that. From the coaches' standpoints, at the high schools that we're meeting, they're super excited. They're super excited to see that Syracuse is back, and I think they're excited in helping us. So that's been really cool to get out on the road, but again, I think most of the effect of the 2018 season will be happening in 2020, and that's why we've got to make sure that we start off hot and fast with the 2019 team.
Time for a couple more questions, Matt?
Dino, with this upcoming stretch, what are some of the things that you and the rest of the coaching staff do to balance the game prep as well as recruiting and getting around the country to make sure that you get those higher star and maybe higher grade recruits that you were just talking about?
Okay, Matt, you lost me because I thought you were going into a practice thing and then you switched it back to recruiting, so I apologize. Hit me one more time.
Just in terms of balancing the practice and the recruiting, what are some of the things that you and the rest of the coaching staff do to make sure that you hit both of those to the proper level?
The only way to be sure is to hit it all, so we're going to be exhausted, which is okay. It's a good exhaustion. We're going to work long hours, longer hours. We've got to make sure that the practice prep is correct, and we have to break that team down. And then we also can't relax on recruiting, because there's two types of football teams right now. There's teams that are going to bowls and they have practice and recruiting, and then there's teams that have no practice and they're recruiting 100%. And we've got to balance that out. We can't let the staff outwork us just because they don't have a bowl game. And that's exactly what we were trying to do the last 2 years here. So we understand how hard they're going to be working, and we need to be able to match that. And it doesn't matter if there's only 24 hours in a day, because we're going to work well into that. Okay?
Time for two more questions. In the back, Seth.
Dino, some of the early reaction I've seen from writers, analysts, whatever, say that this might be the bowl game, the game bowl season. What's your reaction when you see something like that your team could be involved in what they think might be the best game of this calendar year?
You know, that's flattering. That's flattering. I don't know where they would get something like that from. I know that I think that team has a really good quarterback. I think we have a really good quarterback. I think their defense is underrated. I think our defense is underrated. I'm not sure about their special teams. I haven't sat down and watched their special teams. I hope they're not as good as ours, because I hope would be an advantage for us. But I know this. I know they're fast. And I also know I've played them one time in my career, and it didn't end up well. So hopefully we'll do a lot better than the last time we played.
Last question for Coach. In the back.
Coach, you mentioned just a little bit ago that talking about how last year you knew you guys were spending most of your time recruiting, other teams were preparing for bowls. You're now in a position where you guys are preparing for a bowl and recruiting. Can you just talk about how gratifying it is to now be in this position where you've seen the program kind of grow from where it is, where you have it now, where
You know, it's very gratifying. I mean, when I talk about us working 24 hours a day, that's fun. That's like camp. These guys loved camp. They didn't call it a grind, they called it a fun. They wanted to find out where they were at, and they thought that they were a lot better than what people were giving them credit for. And we didn't have any proof of that, but they went out and proved it, and now everybody's seen how much work they put into the off season, how much work they put into camp. So that hard work is fun. You know, I know what hard work is, but when I'm working on football and I'm working on recruiting, and that's not hard to me, that's fun. And we will burn the candles like no others to try to put our best foot forward, not only in the recruiting part of it, but the thing that we put on the field in front of everybody in the camping bowl. So it'll be awesome. Camping World Bowl.
Thanks very much, Coach.
Thank you. Wow, I get to listen to you guys now.
Well, I'll take questions for quarterback Eric Dungey. If you have one, please raise your hand. Nico.
Yeah, Eric back here, you know, Coach just mentioned a minute ago, this is the bowl that is the next choice after the college football playoff and all that. And you guys got it. What's that emotion like for you right now?
I mean, we're honored to be in this position. You know, out of the senior class, especially, we're very happy for, you know, making the bowl game, especially a bowl this caliber. And we're very excited for the opportunity to go against, you know, one of the best teams in the nation.
Steve.
Just talking with some people kind of the last couple of weeks, it seemed like the idea of maybe heading to Yankee Stadium again for the second time, you know, in like a month and a half wouldn't be as special. Like, does a warm weather bowl compared to that experience mean anything to the team?
I mean, not really. I mean, it's postseason, so we were just, you know, looking forward to the opportunity to play, you know, in a postseason game. Coach said it best, we wanted to play anywhere. But you know, we're obviously very happy to go down to Florida. You know, I know my moms would be happy, you know, being in the sun rather than the cold. So.
I was essentially going to ask the same question, but I mean, you guys really didn't have a preference? Again, coming into this kind of felt like the best case scenario.
I mean, you know, for us, I mean, we really just wanted to play another game or look for the opportunity to that. So that's what it is, and like I said, obviously it's the best case scenario. So we're very happy, you know, that, you know, you guys are talking about the what ifs, but I mean, we got this, so that's what we got. You know, we're living in the moment. That's what we've been doing week by week, and that's how we're going to take it. So now we got the Camping World Bowl up next, and that's our goal.
John.
Has the past week been like weird at all, I guess, to kind of go back into like bye week mode or like spring ball mode to like just kind of be in the gym with the guys and not necessarily in the normal practice week?
It has been a little weird. You know, Kyle and I are living together. We just have a lot of free time on our hands right now. You know, you don't know what to do with it. So kind of just been, you know, catching up on sleep that you missed during the season. It's just been nice, honestly. You know, you kind of getting your body right for the, you know, we're going to get a lot of guys healthy for the bowl game, which is going to be awesome. So like I said, I'm just really looking forward to it. And very happy for, you know, how things turned out.
Matt and Andrew.
Eric, what's this day been like, just waiting for your guys' name to be called to see where you end up?
You know, it's kind of been, you know, we've been anxious all day, really. You know, you hear one thing and then you hear another, and you're just like, all right, well, can we just find out what it actually is? And now that we finally know, like I said, we're very happy and we're, you know, very excited for this opportunity.
Andrew and then Darius.
What do you sort of know, obviously, very focused on your guys' season, but what do you sort of see in Will Greer and West Virginia's offense and sort of, you know, they operate a similar sort of spread the ball out?
Yeah, I think I watched their game against Oklahoma, and, you know, obviously they're, you know, one of the most prolific offenses there is. I mean, Will Greer is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. So they're going to put up points, and our job is to do the same thing. I got a lot of faith in our defense, though. I think we got a lot of young guys that have been coming along this season. You know, Kylan and Ryan do a great job bringing their senior leadership, and I think I'm really excited for, you know, how that plays out. And obviously, we got to go watch some film on West Virginia's defense, but it's going to be a tough game.
Darius.
You mentioned a little bit there, is that time from after you got DPC to today, is that a lot of just checking Twitter like all of us, trying to, you know, check the projections, see where you're going as a whole team, kind of doing that, showing you guys like, oh, they say we're going here, we're going here.
For the most part, we kind of just been like, all right, we're going to find out on Sunday, so we'll, you know, just wait until then. For the most part, people have just been catching up on their studies, getting in the weight room. It's been cool to see, you know, a lot of the guys in the weight room, even though, you know, we got time off, everyone's still trying to get their work in, so it's cool to see that, guys going throwing. So everyone's kind of, you know, just been working for that bowl game, whatever it be. And now it's a Camping World Bowl, and we're very happy, like I've said multiple times now.
Nico. Nico?
And we've already been talking about it, throughout this event here, but the idea, you guys in West Virginia, two of these awesome offenses. I mean, obviously the defenses, as coach said, are underrated too, but you guys are known for your offense, so are they. How much of a challenge and how exciting is that to take that challenge on in your last game here in this uniform?
I think it's awesome, but I mean, I give our defense a lot of credit. I mean, our defense is, they're good. You ask any team that they go against, I mean, I go against them every day in practice, and I mean, they're tough. But yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I kind of forgot what you asked. No,
just your offense and theirs. I mean, that kind of challenge too in your last game.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hopefully, not high scoring on their side, but hopefully for us. That's the best scenario for our days. But like I said, it's going to be a tough game. Hopefully we can, take these 2-3 weeks to really hone in on, what West Virginia's going to do. But it's a bowl game, so they can change up some stuff. Obviously, they got 3 weeks to practice, so we're going to, coach is going to get a good game plan for us, and we're going to try to execute.
Couple more questions for Eric in the front row.
I know you guys only just found out, but what was the team's reaction like?
Well, Kyle and I were the only ones together when we found out. I gave each other a little knuckle bump, so that was about it for us. But I'm sure a lot of the guys on the team are happy. I know a lot of the Florida guys are happy to go home. And, a lot of the guys up north, myself including, to go get a tan. So.
Seth?
Obviously, Syracuse and West Virginia haven't played in 6 years, but it's a big rivalry from the past. What are your thoughts on playing West Virginia and getting a crack at it?
I think it's going to be a cool opportunity. Obviously, I was not aware of the tradition here and the rivalries coming from West Coast, but now I've been here for 4 years. I wasn't part of the conference with Big East. Yeah, exactly. So, but now the ACC. So I mean, it's going to be a cool experience. I think it's going to be a lot cooler for the guys who grew up with the Syracuse football and the fans that went through that rivalry. And I'm very excited for it. And hopefully we can come out with a win.
Last question for Eric. Matt?
Eric, where this is kind of uncharted territory for this team, is there any sort of blending in between the personalities on the team? Because obviously you have your senior leaders that are set that model all year long, but where this is an experience that none of you guys have experienced before, is there any sort of blending of personalities and reactions to the bowl game and to the selection?
I mean, not necessarily. I think, we're a very tight-knit group, and I think that's what's really paid off. Coach always speaks about family, Ohana, and it's really paid off this year. We got, in the past it was more, cliques, but now it's really just one team, and, everyone gets together, or, meshes together really well, and like I said, it's paid off on the field, and I think it's going to work out. So.
Thanks very much, Eric. Now take questions for senior linebacker Kylan Whitner. If you have one, please raise your hand. Andrew?
Kind of similar question I asked Eric. Sort of what have you seen with Will Greer? What sort of, at least in your mind, early on, the plan to contend with that, or what sort of needs to happen with that offense?
Yeah, so I mean, West Virginia, obviously they have an explosive offense. A lot of very explosive players. Will Greer, like Eric said, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I mean, we're gonna have to come on our A game. I watched the Oklahoma game as well. A few other games I've seen on film. Like we had the whole week off, so just kind of picking up on the teams people thought we might play, and I watched a couple other games, and we're excited for the challenge. I mean, we feel like our defense has, done a solid job this season, and this will be another test for us, and hopefully we will be up for the challenge. So it's exciting.
Josh?
Kellen, what is going against? I know you guys go against the scout team obviously in practice, but just the fact that like your system is, a spread system and a system that passes the ball a lot. I don't know if that plays into and helps more when you play a team like West Virginia versus say when you play like a team that runs a lot of power and high sets.
Yeah, it's definitely very helpful. I mean, we do team periods in practice where we go against our offense every week, and our offense does a great job. Our offense is one of the best offenses in the country, so when we play a team that runs a similar type system, a spread system, has a lot of playmakers all over the field, it really gives us the upper hand because, we see something like that every week. Specifically going into the Wake Forest game, they run a lot of tempo, and I feel like seeing our offense every week really helped us. So, I mean, seeing an offense with a similar system is definitely helpful for, an upcoming game.
Steve?
Had a bunch of ACC awards come out in like the last week. Or actually, but a couple of them. Cisco getting Defensive Freshman of the Year. Like, what do you think he did to put himself there? And then Dino getting beat out for Coach of the Year by Dabo. Any thought in the locker room that maybe wasn't the right call?
Yeah, so starting with Cisco, I mean, Andre's done a great job since he came in. He came in with a really, veteran mindset. He got to come in the spring, get that spring under his belt, and, I saw the potential in him that he'd be a good player. I feel like this summer, I mean, he really just locked in and focused on doing everything the right way and, being a leader, even as a young guy, so that was very, impressive of him, and I'm just very proud of him, man, and he worked for everything he got this season, and, it's really inspiring to see a young cat come along like that, be able to help us as seniors, that's everything we look for, a young guy being able to help us get to the spot we want to be. So, Andre did a great job this year. And then Coach Babers, great coach. I mean, in my eyes, top coach in the country. And, we're very thankful for what he's done here. But, I mean, like he'd say and we'd say, we're not worried about the awards. Just worried about going to be West Virginia now.
What have been some of the differences that you've seen as a linebacker yourself and among the rest of the linebackers really ever since that Pitt game? Because it seems like everything kind of clicked during that bye week.
Yeah, we saw your article about it. No, man. I mean, we've been locked in all season. We came in, inexperienced. That linebacker had a couple, big time guys ahead of us: Zaire Franklin, Paris Bennett, Jonathan Thomas. Those guys did a great job for us, in prior years, and so we just kind of felt like we had to lock in and do our job. I felt like we maybe stepped up our leadership. Coach Ward did a good job of bringing us along as linebackers, keeping the system simple, but putting us in positions to win games against, big time opponents and things like that. So, I mean, just doing our job every snap and being the leaders that we needed to be at the linebacker position.
Any other questions for Kyle? All right, Kyle, thanks.
I'm hungry.